Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. I feel like I haven't done a solo episode in so long, although I've been doing a solo every week on Patreon. So in that sense, I feel like I have been catching people up on everything, but I realize that not everybody who listens to my regular show is there. So I am going to just update you guys on things and do a little bit of a Q&A, and then we're going to do some voicemails at the end, which is something that I would love to incorporate more into the show, but I'm curious if you guys want to hear it in the show. I just found that for me, it was so fun to actually hear people's voices who listen to the show. That's why I like doing in-person things so much, why I liked doing Dear Media IRL so much, because I get to actually put faces to the listeners. And I also loved being able to put voices to the listeners. So that is on today's agenda. So I'm going to start off, let's see. People wanted to hear about a vacation recap and hear about how all of that went. So I did do 2 vacation recaps on Patreon. I'm extremely jet lagged right now, by the way. So this is probably going to be a little bit of a journey. It's weird because I was totally fine. I got back Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, I was amazing. Yesterday, Wednesday, and today, Thursday, when I'm recording this, I am on the struggle bus a little bit. So just a warning, 1 to my producer and 2 to you guys that this might be a little bit all over the place. But anyway, okay, vacation was absolutely incredible. I'm sure people are like, we don't need to hear about the amazing vacation. But just a little bit of a recap was I went to London, Rome, Capri, and Saint-Tropez. And I went with Mr. X, which is what we call my boyfriend. And it was incredible. I mean, it was probably the best vacation I've ever been on for a number of reasons. And I won't get too far into them here because I don't want to talk about the vacation the entire time, but it was just so nice to be traveling with somebody who is A, such a good travel buddy. We have so much fun together. B, we're in that like early new relationship phase where like everything is amazing and fun. And C, did I do 1, 2, 3 or ABC? I already forgot. C or 3, here's the jet lag. The vacation itself was incredible. I mean, nothing better truly than like Capri, south of France. I had never been to Saint-Tropez or that part of Italy before. So 10/10, highly recommend. If you listen to my Patreon, then you know that I was plagued with pretty debilitating stomach issues, which started in Rome, which let me just tell you, not the vibe when you're on your first big vacation in your new relationship. You do not want to be having stomach issues. I will leave it there. If you want to hear more details, you can go listen to those episodes. But it didn't really get in the way of the amazing time that we were having, thank God. And now I'm just kind of in that re-entry period. I always get a little bit of post-vacation depression, but when this comes out, I'll be on another trip. So I am doing New York, Newport, Rhode Island, and Martha's Vineyard, a little bit of work and a little bit of fun. And it's kind of crazy because I was looking at my 2024 vision board that I made, I guess, sometime before New Year's or right around New Year's. And you guys know my life at that time was completely different. I was still married. I was still living in my marital homes. I knew that I was getting divorced, but I had no idea what my life was going to look like. In fact, I had a plan. My plan was that when I moved out, when the divorce was finalized, I was going to, find myself, be single, and then I was going to do like a Euro summer with my girlfriends or something, and then I was going to start dating. Like that is how I envisioned things. But on this vision board, I had all these pictures of Martha's Vineyard, Cape Cod, Newport, Rhode Island, Capri, Positano, Saint-Tropez, like very bizarre, really specific and really bizarre. And of course, you make plans and life laughs. And I met my boyfriend like very early on in the year. And it was just kind of wild to me, though, to be on this trip and looking at that. And I was going back on my flights, reading old diary entries, not just from that time, but from 2023, 2022, times that I really felt stuck in my life. And it was just amazing to look back and see how certain things have come to fruition. And obviously, I had to go through a lot of challenges and struggles to get where I am now. But it was just a very validating thing, I think. And I'm not the biggest journal girly. I just can't. But sometimes I feel the urge, and I do see how it's such a valuable tool because you can go back and you can see the growth. And it's such a good reminder that when you're going through hard stuff, so often it's leading you to where you're meant to be, or it's getting you to that next phase in your life, And it's kind of like the Stoic philosophy. I wouldn't choose the circumstances, and I wouldn't choose to go through the things that I went through, especially last year, the divorce and the sickness. That was so much, and it was so hard, and it was all at once. But this year has been so amazing, and it's on the other side of that. And so although I didn't like the circumstances, I can see how things were kind of leading to this place. So anyway, somebody asked, actually, this is kind of relevant, if I feel like I manifested my life. And I've gotten this question a lot. And I think, manifestation is very trendy right now. And I think there are different definitions and different concepts around manifestation. If you haven't listened to my episode with Dr. James Doty, go back and listen to that because he's a neuroscientist, neurosurgeon, and he had this crazy life experience where he kind of got everything that he wanted. It turned out to not be all it was cracked up to. Then he lost it all, and then he got himself to this really good place, and he used a lot of manifestation, but he talks about the neuroscience around it. And that episode was just, I think, for anybody who believes in manifestation or wants to manifest, I think that you should definitely go listen to that. So when I think of manifestation, I don't really think about it in the sense of I envision something and then it comes to life. I mean, I guess that you could kind of say that that's happened, especially when I look back on things my vision boards. And I've definitely done, the Joe Dispenza manifestation meditations, and I've seen results from that. But I think that it really just comes from getting clear on what you want and having an intention. And when you have that intention and you set that intention, you get this internal compass, and it points you in that direction, and you take actions towards where you want to go. And so then when those things that you wanted do come to fruition, you are mindful about that and you can recognize that. And I think that then you attribute that to the manifestation, which really was just having this thing that you wanted or this direction that you wanted to go, and then finding yourself there. I don't know if that's making any sense, but I do always feel like I have been kind of delulu, as the kids would say, my whole life. I've always just had this inherent feeling that, I don't know, that my life would work out somehow. So maybe it's delulu. Some of that is definitely faith, especially in the past 10 years in recovery. But I think it's a healthy dose of delulu. Okay. Now I'm way off in the weeds. But anyway, back to the travel. I got a question: travel, health, and wellness tips, sleep, food, etc. So I am not a travel wellness girly. I'm just not. You guys probably know by now, I sound like a broken record, but I really am not strict or rigid with any of my wellness routines. In fact, I don't even think that I really have wellness routines at this point in my life. I feel like I have tools that are in my toolbox and I take them out when it's appropriate. But I just am not in that phase of my life where it's I wake up, I meditate, I gratitude list, I journal, I go get my 10,000 steps, I do my X amount of workouts a week. That's just not where I am right now. It's just, I have all of these tools that I've kind of accumulated over the past, I guess, 8 years now that I've been doing this. And I use different tools at different times. That said, when I'm on vacation, there are no tools really. Like when I'm on vacation from everything. And so I was eating all the things, I was not working out, but I always feel so much better on vacation anyway. So I don't feel like I really need to use any tools because I'm not stressed. I think that is the biggest thing because I mean, my sleep schedule, so that was part of this question. I would have dinner every night at like 9. We would get an 8:30 reservation, but we wouldn't end up eating till 9. I wasn't going to bed till 12 or 12:30. I know you guys are like, what? Who is this person talking on the podcast? My boyfriend was like, you have to tell them that. He actually was like, you have to tell your Patreon people that. But I'm telling you guys everything. Yeah, so I was like going to bed. Normally here, I go to bed at 10:30. 12 or 12:30 is unheard of for me, but that was just the routine that I was on. And because I wasn't stressed, I didn't have that part of my brain like waking me up in the morning. Here, if I sleep till 6:30, that's like amazing. So I think that's the biggest thing. I have no like water retention, no puffiness, nothing like that when I'm on vacation. Again, because I think it comes back to stress. Also, usually on vacation, we are walking a lot. Like I'm usually active wherever I am, whether it's like walking, swimming. So I'm not typically doing like formal workouts, but I am moving my body. And then, I'm sure everybody is aware of just the better food quality overall in Europe. I feel like so much of what we were eating, even though it's not really things that I would be eating here, like, really heavy on the pasta, like pizza, cheese. I mean, I think in France the last 3 days, like I pretty much only ate French fries. I mean, I was having French fries with like every meal. And I felt good aside from the stomach issues because, the raw materials that they're working with, I think are just so much better than what we are working with here. And actually, it was kind of funny because the last night we were leaving out of Nice in France, flying Nice to London to LA on Sunday. And we had to be at the airport at like 5. And so we made the executive decision on Saturday after going to this beach club all day in Antibes that we were going to just go stay at the Nice airport because we didn't want to get up and have to drive like an hour and then, drop the car off and do that whole thing. So we ended up staying at like a Sheraton, the Nice airport. And when I tell you, I had like the best meal there. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, nothing wrong with Sheraton. Shout out Sheraton, but you wouldn't think that you would have like an incredible meal. It was amazing. We were laughing about it. But again, it comes back to like the raw materials that they're working with are just so much more fresh in general. That's like definitely an overgeneralization, but so much more fresh than things that you would find here. So all of that is to say, despite not using the wellness tools, I tend to feel better on vacation. And it's just good, I think, to take a break from all of that. I know that some people really thrive off of like routine and being regimented. And there are times in my life for sure when like I feel like I really benefit from doing all the things, like waking up in the morning, meditating, maybe journaling, I don't know, going for a walk, like these wellness things that I have relied on in the past. But I'm just not in a place right now where I really feel like I have needed those so much. So as far as the food, I'm just looking at this question. Sleep, food is whatever. It's whatever I feel like eating whenever. And sleep, again, was just kind of like go with the flow. And that is not typical me, because even when I've been in Europe in the past, or really anywhere for that matter, I have still like panicked about not being in bed by 10 or 10:30. But I don't know. I mean, this trip, it would be like 11 and I'm like, it's so early. What are we going to do? It's so unlike me. One health or beauty thing I can't live without while traveling. Okay, well, there is one health thing. I think if I had to pick one wellness thing, non-negotiable for vacation, which I didn't really do. I wasn't consistent. And I think that this is what got me into trouble with my stomach issues. That is magnesium. I mean, I feel like you got to be hitting the magnesium pretty hard, if you catch my drift, when you're traveling, especially in Europe, and you're eating a bunch of dairy and pasta, and, you know, things can stop working. I'll just leave it at that. So I would say magnesium is probably a non-negotiable, and it also helps with like sleep and jet lag and all of that. As far as beauty thing I can't live without while traveling, it's not really one thing. It's my whole skincare routine. But if I had to pick one thing, especially for a trip like this, I guess it would be sunscreen. That's such a generic answer. But that said, a lot of people asked me how I maintained my spray tan on this trip. It was not a spray tan. I got a real tan. I know. But when I go on a trip that's like more than a week, especially this trip, because we didn't even get to Capri until a week into the vacation. Before that, we were in London and Rome. I would not have been able to make a spray tan last, and I'm just not that adept at self-tanning where that was going to look good. And sometimes like nothing feels better than a natural tan, in my opinion. I love a natural tan, and the sun in the Mediterranean is just not like the sun in other places. I was in the sun all day, every day. I obviously wore SPF, but I got really dark and it felt amazing. Okay, how am I navigating my new relationship with any baggage from my old relationship? I don't really feel like I have baggage from my old relationship. I feel like, and I've said this before, a lot of the processing and the work around that relationship was being done before the end of that relationship. And there have been some residual things that have come up that I talked to my therapist about, but I don't feel like I have carried any baggage into my new relationship. And I mean, I've talked about this before, but it's so easy and so effortless and so like positive, and the communication is so open. It has been from day one. So if anything were to come up, I feel like we would communicate about it. But overall, I feel like I was pretty free from baggage, which made me be more willing to get into a relationship so quickly, because I did feel like I had dealt with so many of the issues that came up when the previous relationship was still happening. Do normal people feel what if in a relationship, or am I not in the right one? Ugh, this is hard. First of all, what's a normal person? I don't even know. But as far as the feeling of what if, and I'm just without context assuming that the what if is like, what if I was not in this relationship? What if I was with somebody else? What if my life was this way or that way? Everyone's struggles are different, and I think it's totally normal to wonder what it would be like if circumstances were different. That said, I think that maybe the more telling thing would be, how often is that coming up for you? I think that if that is becoming the norm and the what if thoughts are outweighing like the good thoughts, then that might be something to consider. What do you think?
I think that if there is like some sense of doubt, then it's like for a reason. So like it's important to like explore that and really understand like, okay, is this because is there some other outside factor? Is the outcome because of something that like this person is doing, something that like that's like within me? And then if it is like something that's like within you yourself, then it's like, okay, maybe there's just like something I have to figure out and kind of get together before I can like really continue.
That's a really good point. Thank you. I put you on the spot there. But I'm curious to get like a male perspective on this, because I feel like if guys are thinking what if, like they're out and they're like on to the next thing. Whereas like women will grapple with it and wrestle with it more. But I like that point about like, is it something that the other person is doing or not doing? Or is it something within me? Or like, do I have needs that aren't being met, and have I not expressed that? Like there's so much nuance that it's hard to just say like, yeah, it's normal, or like, no, it's not normal. So I think that's a really good point. And then I also think like the frequency, because I think like if you just think it once in a while, that might not be that much of a red flag, but I can say for myself, like I definitely was thinking that more often than not. And I've talked about this before, I think in a few solo episodes this year. But what got really hard for me was when my inner life was not reflected in my outer life. I was kind of wondering, like, what if a lot? And I'm treading carefully here because Chuck listened to my podcast and I don't want him to get hurt if he listens to this. But it can get really hard if that is kind of like the resounding thought that you're having and then your outer world looks different. I don't know if this is making sense, but for me, that created a lot of turmoil. I saw this thing on Instagram. I wrote it down here. It's called the velvet coffin theory. So it sounds a little bit morbid, right? But the way that this woman was explaining it was that you have a life that's kind of like pretty reflective of the life that you wanted. Like it looks pretty good. And it might not be the big life that you dreamt of. Like whatever your big dream is. For some people, you know, that might just be like having a family. For other people, that might be like having a big career. Maybe it's both. Maybe it's something completely different. Maybe you live in a city, but you want to live in the country and that's like always been your calling. You know, there's so many variables here. But the velvet coffin theory is like, so you're living this life and it's pretty good, but it's not the big dream and it's comfortable. And so you get comfortable in it, even though it's like not what you really want. And then it like starts to slowly close in on you. So that's the coffin. And I was like, ooh, that is relatable to me. This kind of comes back to like, is it this thing that's like really nagging at you? Is your world, your relationship, your career, whatever it is, like not what you envisioned? And are you like desiring something completely different? Like, is there something different that you pictured for yourself? That I think is something to pay attention to. And I can definitely relate to like being in the velvet coffin. Somebody called it like the gilded cage and like the golden handcuffs. Like there's so many different names for, you know, this analogy of like just being stuck. But I think that comfort can keep us stuck for a long time. And I know for me, like that was really hard. And I know that that's really hard in relationships too, because you can be in a relationship with someone who's a good person and it's like a pretty good relationship and there's companionship, there's familiarity, there's maybe comfort, maybe there's financial comfort, like whatever it is. And it might not be the right relationship, but it's so hard to leave the comfort. So hard. This is a topic that I've talked about with so many actual experts and people on my podcast this year because it was such a struggle for me. And I've gotten the feedback from you guys that it's, you know, pretty like prevalent issue as well. Okay. Someone asked, how do I keep from letting fear hold me back? So this is kind of like on theme. For me, fear was my biggest problem in my life. I let fear hold me back for so long. And I have the advantage of my drug addiction, honestly. Like I really truly see that as my greatest asset because I had such a low bottom. The fact that I almost died, the fact that I was kind of like given another chance at life just instilled this thing in me that I'm not going to let fear hold me back. Does that mean that I don't feel fear? Absolutely not. I feel fear all the time, but I'm just not the kind of person who's going to let that dictate my life. So it's so cliche, but it's like I feel the fear and I do it anyway. And I remember somebody early on when I was sober saying that everything that I want is on the other side of fear. So I just remember that. Okay, I'm going to switch gears here. Skincare updates, anything new that I am loving. So I'm still doing my Jan Marini. I did get a few questions about whether or not I have deviated from that. The answer is no, I have not. However, I have incorporated a few different products that I have been loving. So one is the Shani Darden, I can't remember what it's called, like Moisture Boost plumping serum or something. I don't know. It's amazing. I also love the Clarins double serum. I've talked about this before. I use it in the step of the hyaluronic acid in my Jan Marini. So I don't know if that even makes sense, but that's when I use it. And that's when I seem to get the best results from it. It's pretty crazy. Like it's pretty glass skin in a bottle kind of vibes. So I love that. And then what else am I using? Oh, U Beauty. Okay. Tina Chan Craig, she came on my podcast. She founded U Beauty. I talked about it with the ladies of Los Angeles in our episode 2 or 3 weeks ago. So if you listened to that one, then you guys heard us raving about it there. But anyway, her line, U Beauty, is incredible. I'll talk about the body skincare because I know that this is something that you guys are interested in. And I feel like we don't pay enough attention or talk enough about the body skincare stuff. Okay, these 3 products, the Resurfacing Body Compound, 12 out of 10. I mean, when I got back from my vacation, because I spent so much time in the sun, I was like a shriveled raisin. Like it was really not good. I was planning all my lasers. I was kind of panicking. I was like, I've overdone it. This is not good. And I used the Resurfacing Body Compound at night. I also got the Arm Sculpt Compound. I think that's what it's called. Or yeah, the arm something. She said to just use it anywhere my skin was crepey. So I do those. And then during the day, I do the Super Hydrator. I mean, I got back Sunday. I started doing this Monday. It's now Thursday. Already, it's like any like little lines that I had in my chest, gone. The crepiness that I had like on the inside of my arms, gone. It is crazy. Like it's incredible. So I also got the Resurfacing Compound and the Super Hydrator for my face, but I haven't tried those yet because I was going to do some treatments yesterday with Jen Hollander, but we ended up not doing anything. So someone said beauty treatments that I'm doing. I am going to do CO2 under my eyes when I get back from my trip. We were going to do it yesterday, but I didn't want to come in here today looking crazy, although now I kind of wish that I had done it. So you guys know the no Botox journey. It's rough, okay? There's nothing that replaces Botox. I'm sorry. I've been doing acupuncture. Actually, that's a lie. I only did acupuncture once, cosmetic acupuncture. I do my LED light. I do all the skincare. I do facial massage. I do gua sha. I do cupping. I do all of this every day at home. I tried Frownies. I was like, I don't know. It's really hard for me to sleep with things stuck to my face. Maybe I should, but I think I'll try kinesiology tape. I know there's a Japanese tape that I think her name is the Natural Face Bible on Instagram. She sells. So I heard amazing things about that. And I don't think it's so much like wrinkles, like stopping wrinkles from forming as it brings blood to the surface of the skin. So it makes it more plump. I don't know. I don't have any wrinkles at rest, but my face is moving a lot and I don't love it. So the beauty treatments. Okay. So I'm doing CO2 under my eyes. I did that last year. Yeah. Last April. And I'm going to do it again. And then I'm going to do something called Easy Gel. So I should probably just have Jen on to talk about this because it's kind of technical and I'm probably going to butcher it. But essentially it's like they take your blood, they spin something down, and then they inject it again, like kind of like PRP maybe. But she said that it makes your own, or it uses your own blood and something else to make kind of like a filler. So you can inject it into lines under your eyes. And I mean, I don't think it's as like thick as a hyaluronic acid filler, but she said that you can kind of use it in the same way that you would use a filler. So I'm going to try doing that. I'm going to do microneedling, which I haven't done yet actually this year. I think I said in my last episode that I was doing it, meaning like I was going to do it and then I didn't end up doing it, but I'm going to do it. So those are the treatments that I am doing. And then let's see. Last beauty question. Since having my implants removed, would I consider fat transfer? Yes. I actually saw Dr. Cohen and we talked about doing it, but I decided, A, I'm not in any rush. B, I didn't want to do anything until after the summer. So I don't know. I might do another lift and fat transfer. I'm not really sure, but not something that I wanted to do during the summer. And then I'm going to Africa in September. So maybe like October, sometime around then, but I'll keep you guys posted on that. And also, I can't really get that much fat. He said he might be able to get like 100 cc's, I think he said, for each breast, which isn't that much, but I don't know. And then obviously of that, not all of that survives. So, really it would only be like a tiny bit just to kind of like round things out, but definitely considering that. Okay, I have more questions, so I'll do them next time, but we are going to do a couple voicemails here.
Hey, Ariel, love the podcast. Hey, I was wondering how you pick your outfits. What style inspiration do you have? Okay. And what are you thinking about for summer 2024?
I want to be like, caller, where are you calling from? My style inspiration pretty much comes from shopping. So I go on Forward, I go on Net-a-Porter, Moda Operandi, My Teresa, Farfetch, not Farfetch so much anymore actually, Revolve, all the big websites, and I just peruse what is new. And that is, for the most part, where I get my style inspiration from. I mean, I really have always had the same style. It's barely changed. So much of what I wear are things that I have purchased like previous years. So I spend a lot on things like accessories, shoes, bags, coats, I don't know, sweaters sometimes. And then I spend less on things like jeans, t-shirts, basics, all of that, because the accessories can kind of make an outfit. Like I wear jeans and a t-shirt pretty much every day, but then I'll do like great shoes, a great bag, good jewelry, belts, things like that. So that is kind of my style philosophy. Like I very much focus on basics and timeless things. So even when I am spending more on those accessories, like they're things that I'll still wear throughout the years and I can transition them throughout different seasons. I generally don't buy really trendy things. I mean, the most trendy things that I buy are like, I'm wearing right now my Alaïa fishnet flats. Like, I don't know if these are going to be the vibe next year, but I love them. But overall, like I really focus on timeless things. So as far as summer, I am focusing on kind of what I always wear. Like I always will do like a maxi or a midi dress, a maxi or a midi skirt, and then like a cute top. I'm doing a lot of like matching sets. And again, so easy. You can just go to like Forward, Revolve. I was doing this today because I'm leaving on Sunday and I have nothing. And you can just type in sets and they often have like categories of matching sets. I think that that's the easiest thing to do because you can buy like a top and a skirt. You can buy a few sets and then you can kind of like mix and match as well. And you can make so many different outfits out of them. I know that people are really into like the boxers with like the socks and the loafers. And I'm just not that girl. Like I try, okay? I've tried to do the black loafers with the white socks and I feel like Michael Jackson and like not in a cute way. And I love it on other people. And I love when I see like girls doing it and I'm like, yes, you are that girl. Like you look amazing. On me, I look like I'm about to like moonwalk out of here. Not the vibe. And same thing with like the boxers. I don't know. Maybe like in a month, you're going to catch me wearing boxers with white socks and black loafers. But love it on other people. On me, I just don't know. Like I feel like I did that maybe when you were actually around for that original era. Like you just feel like you don't want to do it again. I don't know. Now I feel like I'm aging myself, but I don't know. I think like I would say, let me start that over. So I would just say like I stick to timeless things and my style this summer isn't that different from my style last summer or the summer before or the summer before that. It's like skirts, dresses you guys see on my Instagram. And I do think matching sets are like more kind of in this year than they have been in past years, and kind of like preppy matching sets. But you can just go on these websites and you can find them there.
Okay, broke up with your boyfriend of 6 years, 6 months ago, and now he's trying to get back with you, and you've had like a gnarly time dating for the past 6 months and you're considering, but also you don't feel the spark. What do I do?
Okay, not feeling the spark. I mean, that right there, that was like the nail in the coffin for me. Up until that point, I was like, I get it. Like, I know it's hard out there. Been there, done that. I was separated in 2022. And I mean, I felt like there was unfinished business. And I genuinely did want to get back together with my now ex-husband. But I also had been separated for like 6 months, and I remember I downloaded Hinge, and after like 2 days on Hinge, I was like, absolutely fucking not. Like, no way. I know it's hard out there. I don't think that the climate of the dating scene is a good enough reason to get back with an ex. If there was a spark still, I would be a little bit more open to this rekindling of the romance, but you need to feel that spark. What did Carrie call it? The Zaza Zoo. Sex in the City. Like, you need the Zaza Zoo. I'm voting do not get back with the ex. I say keep doing the dating thing, or not. Like, maybe take a break from dating right now and just do your own thing. And I think it's like better to be alone than to be in the wrong relationship, or like be in a relationship with someone that you just don't have that like passion with anymore. That would be my take. What do you think?
You're not feeling it.
Concise and to the point. Not worth it. Look at Ben and J-Lo. I mean, that's reason not to get back with your ex, right? And they did feel the spark, obviously, but an ex is an ex for a reason.
Hi, Arielle. Absolutely love your content and your podcast. Looking forward to seeing what you do with the rebrand. I was just wondering if you could share, and I know you've talked about this before, a little more in depth of what a typical week looks like for you in regards to fitness and nutrition, meals, snacks, what types of activities you're doing. And yeah, thanks so much.
Well, I feel like I kind of talked about this in the beginning of the episode. I am not really consistent with any kind of fitness, nutrition, regimen, routine, anything like that at this moment. But I will say I have been cooking a lot more of my own food, and I feel like that in and of itself like makes such a world of a difference in how I feel. So as far as nutrition goes, what I'm making a lot of is for breakfast, I either do my protein yogurt bowl with granola and berries, maybe some almond butter. That's like a constant. And ever since I got back from Europe, because what I was doing there was like eggs, I would do like bacon or sausage. Like, I wasn't eating nuts there. I wasn't eating coconut yogurt. I wasn't doing a lot of the things that I eat here. Almond butter. Like, my diet here is so nut heavy. I actually realized that when I got back, and I did feel so much better there not eating that. So I'm trying to do like the egg thing as well for breakfast. And then for a snack, sometimes I don't snack in the morning and I'll just go right to lunch. For lunch, I 9 times out of 10 will have leftover dinner. So some kind of protein, some veggies, some rice, or like a starchy carb like sweet potato, or I've been doing a lot of kabocha squash, which is my favorite. And then afternoon snack, I'll do like a chomps. I'll do a smoothie, which I'm doing right now because I'll do a smoothie when I need the energy. Smoothies crack me out like no other. I don't know how. I don't know why I'm so sensitive, but I feel like I get more energy from smoothies than I do from like a matcha sometimes. And I don't like doing caffeine after the first thing in the morning when I have my first matcha. But a smoothie will really like rev my engine. And I have to be careful with them because I get too cracked out sometimes. So I'll usually do like a half a smoothie. Anyway, so I'll do like a smoothie or a chomps or both. And then dinner, I'm either going out, which I've been doing so often lately, or I'm making something that I'm having left over for lunch, like I said. So I'm doing a lot of my Greek chicken bowls, which are so good. I do my salmon bowls. So really easy. Like my bone broth rice is a staple. Again, sweet potato, kabocha squash, some kind of starchy carb, some kind of green vegetable like sauteed spinach. I'll do broccoli, something like that. And then my air fryer salmon or chicken. I am doing a lot of chicken thighs in the Instant Pot. Oh, I'm doing this like hot honey. It's like honey garlic chicken, I think. That's really, really good. So that's pretty much it. And as far as my workout routine, non-existent right now. Like literally does not exist. I was starting to get a little bit of momentum before I left, where I was playing tennis twice a week, and then I was doing like one strength session a week and then maybe one Pilates session a week. And now like my tennis instructor is gone until August, and I just haven't done anything this week. And then I'm leaving again, or when this comes out, I will be gone again. So it's just not the time for me to like get into my fitness regimen again. But that said, when I get back, it's on. And maybe we can all start something together, or at least start some kind of accountability thing, because I need it, because I have not been able to get consistent since I got sick last fall, and I really want to. So that is the honest truth about my routines right now, or lack thereof. All right. I still have a ton of questions left over, so maybe I'll do a part 2 on this episode. I have more style questions, time management, money management, and some more fun stuff. So let me know if you guys would like a part 2 on this, and I will get that recorded for you. If you want to hear more behind the scenes, if you want to hear like the real nitty gritty, like what's going on in my life on a weekly basis, and some deep dives on beauty, Hollywood, Q&A, go over to my Patreon. I put out new episodes every Saturday. It's totally unfiltered, totally uninhibited, and it's just a good time. And there's like a lot of fun chats, and it is a safe space for everybody. So check that out. And as always, appreciate you guys. Love ya. And I'll talk to you soon.